All right, everybody. So we officially ended the Feast of St. Andrew's at the end of last session. Does anybody want to give us a recap? Not really.
I mean, I can't.
Everyone knows where we're at.
No, I
Yeah, you do it, Doug.
Go ahead, Doug.
All right. I just feel like I'm always the one doing it. So, all right, yeah. So last session, we started things off right with IREENA taking out Corinth, but that caused her skin to get soft and just start slopping off of her body. With the spell that she did to do that, so it was a heavy cost for that. And then while IREENA was doing that, Alexandri brought the father to the hole, and I was able to heal him back up so that he could begin sanctifying the church. And at that point, the slime that had been sort of surrounding IREENA or been near her crawled back down her throat, and she started feeling sicker and just bleeding uncontrollably. So she was this red, bloody, dripping mess at this point. We were doing great. The vampire that started at the organ got taken down by a spiritual weapon. The other vampire that tried to take Yeska got taken out by ZAPH. At this point, I started helping the father to sanctify the church, and all of the party members just started falling like flies around me. IREENA hit some Tides of Chaos wild magic and was just levitating on this foul smelling cloud gas. Good times. Alexi got bit after failing a saving throw, and Alexandri died. Found himself like in this dark, horrible area, and accepted an offer from a dark stranger named Kozith.
Yeah. CU''SITH, sort of, Kozith.
Okay. I had a U in there, so that's cool. And tells him that they'll talk when he's feeling better. And then I've got a lot of misgendered on Alexi in this paragraph. So when Alexandria wakes, he suddenly has these reptilian features that he didn't have before, and came with a few benefits like some climbing speed and some increased rolls for initiative and survival and other stuff like that. Alexi coming back gave a healing potion to IREENA, which brought IREENA back. And Isaac this whole time was getting attacked, and his hit points were just dropping more and more, and the more health he lost, the more erratic his arm got. He seemed to have some amount of control, but not enough, because he had the thought in mind to get out of there to keep the rest of us safe, so he ran off. I tried healing him as he was running away, but it wasn't enough to help him regain that control. About this time, the father finished the ceremony. The church starts glowing a bit, and the church starts sanctifying. Some of the blood gets pushed towards the edges, and the limbs on the floor start getting cleared out. And it's a safe place again, thankfully. And then I ran over to the window, saw Yeska, made his way to the backyard of the orphanage. We assume that he's safe since he's very familiar with the orphanage. We start talking about Alexi coming back, and IREENA is like, realizing, that she is what Strahd wants, and none of this would have happened if it wasn't for her, and we all try and convince her not to leave. As Strahd appears, levitating above the church, unable to enter the church, but still able to talk to us and try and convince IREENA to come back to the castle, saying that, you know, if she goes back to the castle, then she'll be happy, and the two of them will be happy, and they will be happy, pointing to the rest of the party and all the commoners. And sort of IREENA is able to sort of figure out while he's talking that he is the one that is cursed, cursed to chase her, and she responds, "Give me 7 days, and I will come to you." To the shock of the rest of the party, I believe. So, Strahd's like, "All right, cool. I'll see you. See you for dinner in 7 days, and looking forward to the joyous occasion." We go upstairs. Gertrude's in her closet reading a book. She's safe and in a protected place now. We scope out the streets, and a lot has changed as it's nearly evening now, and yeah, I mean, just Vallaki's half burned to the ground. We did help save a lot of villagers by opening up the gate on the east side. We helped the innkeeper's family. So we did, as much as it felt like we weren't doing anything right going into the last session. It was definitely rewarding to hear some of the things that we did do right, and really, I think we all just got a feel for the commoners going back to their lives as if this was just a normal day, or they didn't really care, and it's things going back to normal, I think, is not what any of us had anticipated, but it seems to be what's happening around us. So that's where we're at, and
so that we don't skip over it, there was also a moment where REYLYNN might have taken a look at the documents, or do you want to save that for later?
Oh yeah, I did take a look at the documents.
Or we could even, since that was sort of out of character, we could even start this session with you going through that, so that we could, get a better reaction, or at least that's a natural place to sort of pick this up. If you don't have it, I'm happy to sort of post those or DM them to you.
Yeah, no, I've got those.
Okay.
I like screenshotted and just put it into the thing or whatever.
Yeah, so I know it's a little bit sort of meta with the sort of summary and epilogue, but in my head, this is like Dio and Knight, who are kind of coming back from a little bit of scouting, the information they picked up, as well as some of the information you've got from more citizens that are sort of running to the church after you guys have sanctified it, as well as sort of doing your own sort of quick walk around. So you're still at the church. You've gotten a quick rundown of sort of what the effect on the city is, sort of an intel dropped from your different sources. REYLYNN takes a minute to catch his breath and thinks, he almost died without finding out some of this stuff about his childhood, and so prioritizes going through some of these notes now that it's quieted down in the church, and that's where we'll pick it up.
All right. Yeah, I don't really have a.
I still can't get into Foundry for some reason.
None of us can.
It's not up.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
By the way, just side note, you did say last session that we handle looting and such. Do you want to do that? Just kind of us scoundering the remnants of this fierce battle.
Yes, we definitely look at the bodies of Corinth and Delarm and get the goods off of them.
So yeah, while they're looking through some bodies or whatever, I'm sitting here reading this this sheet, and I already knew about the wolf attack. I got some information about that, but it does show that the orphanage knew that my brother had been adopted by the burgomaster. Find out I was constantly bullied and picked on the other kids, and I definitely remember that even before reading it. This was sort of something I remembered not being a good place and not feeling like I belonged. And, you know, just had a lot of negative memories for me. You know, I seem to have blocked out, or maybe just didn't remember it. There was this incident where some older boys toppled some loose rocks off the roof, and they hit my head, and, you know, maybe I dismissed it as an accident, or maybe I just don't remember it, but, you know, it's written in the paper, and you know, I kind of get to that, and, you know, my face is already just sort of empty, and goes even sadder. You know, learning that, you know, not only was it necessarily a negative space mentally, it apparently was a much worse physically dangerous space than I remember it being. And you know, tried to get some groundskeeper tried to kidnap me. You know, apparently the other children were complaining that I was the devil, and all of the words that you guys have heard in your heads that come from my voice, you know, and all of the years of trying to figure out how to talk to adults with this, and let them know not to be scared the first time they heard it. You know, I didn't understand that as a kid, and the other kids didn't as well, and them hearing my voice in their heads, I think back to what that must have been like for them, and realize not only was this a painful place for me, it must have been a frightening place for them. And, you know, the last thing that I see on there is Miss Valesco knew that this wasn't a safe place for me, but also knew that there was goodness in me, and that I wasn't the devil, but she had to get me out of there somehow, and she made a deal with the Vistani to get me safe passage out of Barovia, for the payment of my inheritance, whatever that was. But she was the one that orchestrated me getting out, and I always thought I had done it on my own, but it was her all along, all this time. So, like, all these things are just sort of hitting me, and I say, guys, I need to go to the orphanage.
I'm sorry to interrupt you really quickly. I don't loot bodies, but I do sit down next to REYLYNN as he's going through all of this. And at the end of it, as my body's kind of finally coming back to its original shape, I'm just going to put my hand in his and just kind of interlace our fingers together, just quietly listening to him.
Okay, and right now you are IREENA, is that right?
Yeah, I'm finally, no, I'm just like, all the shit that's been happening in my body is finally now calming down. I still have antlers, but
yeah,
I'm not schlepping.
Everything's kind of coming back to true form as your body is able to heal itself and push this magic out of it now that it's weakened.
I go to sort of like rest my head on your shoulders and get a little stab from one of your antlers, and kind of.
Sorry, no.
Yeah, you know. So I just squeeze your hand a little tighter and say, I need to go. I need to go back by the orphanage so I can thank Miss Valesco for everything she's done, not just for me, but for all the kids over the years.
And we'll go to the orphanage. Did you guys find anything?
Oh, yeah, you guys, hey, look, we got all these things from the bodies. Hey, are you okay?
Oh, a potion of superior healing. Where did you find that?
Yeah, you don't. Surprisingly, on these undead corpses, you don't find a lot of items like potions of healing or money, for that matter, since they don't have much need for it. You do find plenty of bits and baubles, some scraps about their previous lives, some bills that they still had tucked in their pants pockets and stuff from their previous days. But the only things of note that you find. Number one is on Corinth, you notice a very old, crusty ring that you managed to peel off of his fingers. And that is a ring of jumping that you're able to pretty quickly identify. It's a pretty simple item. I think you guys probably would have come across it maybe before in your adventuring days, or at least heard of it. So that one you get, ring of jumping. And then on Corinth, the thing that stands out the most is his armor that's been stained blood red from the blood of his victims and has the symbol of the Lathander basically scratched out with claw marks. That seems like an exceptionally well put together piece of plate armor.
Corinth
Do you
or
mean
Delarm?
Durham? Delarm? Yeah.
Delarm. Yeah. The ring was
Okay.
on Corinth. Yeah, on Delarm, you find a very sturdy set of armor that seems exceptionally made.
Well, I do not think that anybody in our party personally uses this, but it might be able to be melted down as such for scrap and metal.
Yes, I do not use the armor. It gets in my way. I like to be, all me all the time,
I don't think I can hardly carry this on my back.
Yes, I cannot wield that and a sword and a shield and concentrate on my magics. That is not.
Is it for the sake of summon undead? Because could I possibly use that to gild my skull, like based on how much it's worth?
It's not gold armor. Don't you need gold?
Yeah.
I mean, we can trade it and then,
Maybe.
Yes, we can
Buy
sell it for you
gold.
and get gold.
yes.
I really.
I mean, maybe not
I have
in
a
this
third level
town.
spell slot that I have, like our third level spell that I haven't used at all yet because I still need the material components for it.
You can use gold for it.
It is yours, my friend. We will sell this and use the gold to gild a beautiful skull for you. In fact, take the alarms. It was a good skull.
I already
He
have a
has
skull.
one, I think.
It's a raven skull, or not?
But
It's
now
like
you
a
have many skulls. Look around. There are so many skulls.
yeah. I should just start collecting skulls. It'd be pretty cool.
I believe I have a good way. I oftentimes we would hunt, and when you hunt the animals, you have to do everything. Use all of the pieces, and we would boil it in this concoction, and I could help you do that. It made them very clean. You could decorate your whole house with the skulls of the things you've killed.
Oh, I'm not sure my parents would approve of that, but
You
sure.
are the one
parents,
asking
how old
for
are you?
skulls here. I'm just saying I can help you clean them very nicely. Clean as they wish. You could eat off of them. You could make a bowl out of these skulls.
True. I could eat my lovely celestial stew. I'm young enough to still live with my parents for celestial.
At the point where they mentioned the making a bowl and eating stew out of skulls, I'm heading out the front door.
I'm following.
Oh, what? You don't like the gothic? We live in,
Alright,
we're in
guys.
Barovia right now. This is far
We-
from the darkest thing you've seen today.
We step over dead bodies to get to the
Exactly.
The tragedy seems to be hitting everybody a little differently. Everyone seems to be dealing in their own way tonight.
I'm just saying, you don't want the sloppy skull.
Oh no, of course I would never. I do want the skull though. If you want to help me with that.
I will help you get it and clean it very nicely.
Sure.
All right, so it's a little tough because there are a lot of charred bits of remains on the inside of this armor. Really took a scorching whenever he went down, and it affixed a lot of loose body parts. But a little scrub pad, and I'm sure, or some magic. I'm sure you'll have it right as new.
I guess that's true. You do just have that Prestidigitahusa spell to clean things up, huh?
Yeah, I mean it works,
You
but
could just
so
do
much.
This is good.
All right,
Mage
well,
hand might be able to dig in there and kind of separate things.
while IREENA and REYLYNN go through some of his past and then are joined by the looters who have found what they've found. WAES, what are you up to, and how are you doing with everything?
So I'm going to be basically looking around the church for any signs of vampires. I'm not convinced that everybody's gone, that we've got everybody. I'm not convinced that there's not some vampire spawn or something, or some agent of Strahd still lurking about.
Okay. So what you do find are a couple of scattered bats that are still sort of loose in the belfry and the rooftop and stuff area, and you're easily able to kind of chase them out. Their murderous streak seems to be gone, but a thorough search reveals no undead, no vampires, and no agents of Strahd. In fact, there's very few living creatures in the building. Gertruda, the father, and you all are joined by a collection of commoners downstairs, and no one upstairs right now besides Gertruda. And everybody checks out. Your evaluation, you take a quick look, look in everybody's eyes, make them open their mouth. Everybody's teeth checks out, and everybody's definitely human.
Okay, well then after securing that location, I suppose we have to start talking about how we go out and check on all the other locations that we helped set up and that we skipped over.
Okay, so you all, I guess, are kind of congregating downstairs, or is anybody else gone?
If you don't
right
mind,
now?
can I have like one more just conversation with ALEXI before we leave?
Yeah, you guys were still kind of off, so WAES will be sort of waiting downstairs, calling out, guys, we need a plan, sort of tapping his foot Sonic style while you guys wrap everything up.
Yeah, so in kind of near the end of us cleaning up this breastplate and collecting our bones and such, I'm just gonna kind of pause for a second and look up at ALEXI and be like, I don't mean to kill the mood. I sure do love a good collection of bones, but I genuinely thought we lost you there for a second. I don't know if you want to talk about it, but what was that like? What happened?
I was terrified. It was very frightening. It was a coldness to the depth of the core of my being. It's like going into an icy lake and feeling like you're never going to get to the top when your skin begins to burn because it is so cold, and the maggots start crawling near you, and I can feel them on my body and my skin, and I cannot do anything. There is nothing I can do. And then this figure shows up, and it feels warmer, and he says, I can help you save IREENA. And I don't know what else he said. It felt like a dream, but it felt so real also. And I said I would do anything as long as I can save IREENA. And he said that he would help me save IREENA. And I guess he sent me back. I think I must have been gone for real. And so I don't know what it means, but I am frightened. And I might need your help, friend. This
Of course.
is very frightening. I have noticed some changes on my body, some lesions on my skin. It looks like a lizard. I don't understand. It's scaly. And I've noticed that my speech is a little bit different. Do you see anything?
I can't tell what's travel tradition and lizard tongue, but I don't know. It might seem like the start of something anew. But fear not.
Feel free to make a medicine check if you're looking her over.
Yeah, sure. Nat 1.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
So what you see are lizard parts, reptilian bits. It is kind of tough. It's still kind of smoky in the church, and you obviously have a lot of stuff on your mind, so it's not a great time for an evaluation. But you do notice that these are reptilian bits that are very much not Half-Orc.
I mean, I've only ever seen about one reptile in my life, but I guess a comparison could be made. Just fear not, okay? We worry about what's happening now. We're all going through changes. I mean, look at
Yes, I
me
have
now.
seen your changes.
Yes, maybe not as quite as dramatic. A hair color and a new set of armor might not be as different as, becoming a lizard, but it's okay.
I hope I'm not really becoming a lizard, but I did want to say to you, if you need to talk about what is going on and the changes that have happened since we've been here, I am always ears for you. Is this how they say it? Always ears?
Yeah, something like that. Thank you,
I want
Alexi.
you to
I'll
know.
keep that in mind.
We can talk.
I don't know. It feels like not even a week that we've been here, and it feels like it's been months.
This place drains your energy. And those scary hags doing what they've done to you, how is that feeling for you?
Oh, I'm exhausted. It feels like we've been here for months, and I feel like I haven't slept in years, but I'm trying to push on. For you all.
You are miraculous. I cannot believe what you did when we were facing all of those vampires, and you kept bringing us back. We were feeling so ill and so damaged, and you kept saving us, making it possible for us to fight on.
It took every bit of energy I had to do it, but I was glad to do so.
I will fight by your side anytime, friend.
Of course. Now let's finish cleaning up these melted bones, and let's get back to the rest of the party.
I think I heard WAES stomping around in the front of the church. Maybe we should go see what he is doing.
He's probably getting impatient.
And REYLYNN, while they were talking, the father has kind of come up to you and without words kind of thrown his arms around you and looked up at you, and this frail, weak, almost dead voice from bouncing up and down so many times, he just says, "Thank you. This place survives because of you. You will not be forgotten."
This place survives as I place my hand on his shoulder because of all of us, Father, and I look around to everyone else here with me.
And he does look around and he says, "Me and the 20 or so parishioners with me all would have died in the street last night had you not saved us. And certainly this house of the Morning Lord would have fallen as well. You are all to be commended. I cannot promise you will get the appreciation outside these doors that you deserve, but you will always have a bed here."
We would not be here if you had not been able to bring this church back to its former sanctity, and we would definitely be taking you up on that offer of a bed, as we discovered a need for it last night.
What can I do to possibly repay you, my son?
Just what you've been doing, keep doing it. Looking after Yeska, looking after the other orphans and the other townsfolk, and everything you have been doing, Father.
I admit I had no hope for Yeska when I saw him standing in front of that awful monster. I had put it in my mind that he was already dead so that I could keep moving forward and try to do my work with the good book. The fact that he still lives is a true miracle.
He is a strong spirit, and I believe you should help him to fulfill your role, to assist you and to help you in the future, and he should also continue some basic training. I believe he can be more than just a spiritual protector, I believe, but his most important role must be here with you, learning.
Yes, it will take many, many years, but I will need a replacement. Yeska is truly dedicated and loves this house of the Morning Lord. I do believe he would defend it with his life, as he was last night, or as he was just today and has always done.
Thank you.
All right. The father's going to kind of shuffle off to bed as he makes a gesture of the Morning Lord to you all and starts heading upstairs to try and get some rest. Feeling
Take
very
care
safe
of
with you all
Gertrude.
here. Of course, like she is my daughter. No more children will be hurt in this house, today or any other day.
And IREENA standing kind of right behind REYLYNN during that whole interchange, just guilt all over her face.
Okay. All right, so the father goes upstairs. Most of the commoners downstairs have had enough, and they are, they've pushed some of the limbs and random body parts to the corners of the building and tried to mop up some clean spots on the floors. Many of them are starting to lay down and trying to get some rest as well.
Where are we going, WAES?
Well, does anybody here have any pressing people that they'd like to check on? I'm sure REYLYNN would like to make sure that we check on the orphanage.
I'm already halfway to the orphanage at this point. Yeah.
Oh, you've already left.
I followed.
I'm like making a beeline. I need to go to the orphanage. I need to talk to Miss Belesko and Yaska.
Yeah, I know. I definitely want to get back to the inn and check on our allies, as well as get the Wachter twins and take them back, and so that I can get that tome.
Yes.
We're not going to get the tome for
No, but we might
the
get an
sons.
ally.
What did you say, Alexi? We may get the what?
But we may get an ally.
No.
I mean, we know how to make an ally out of her. Give her control of the city. That
I look
was the
away.
condition
Worse
of
than
getting
what
the
just
tome.
fucking happens, huh? This is what happens with the Burgomaster in control. He is doing a great job of keeping Strahd out.
If they were beneath everyone's noses, I don't know that anyone could have stopped this. Not that that excuses him, but I mean, he's not completely the only one at fault here. This could have happened anywhere. Hopefully, this only happened here.
We should check on Ishmak.
Who?
Your brother.
Oh, Isak.
Isaac.
Ishmak.
Yeah.
Ishmark.
Your other, the other,
Ireena's brother.
Oh.
Oh. I'm just kind of. I'm avoiding looking at Alexi altogether.
Just please don't send him like a message that says, "What are you doing, stepbrother?"
Oh no.
Okay, moving on from that.
Yeah, we go to the orphanage.
So should we all go? It seemed like maybe a private trip.
You were all welcome.
Let's go.
May also go to the inn, and I will meet you there if you wish to do so. As I sort of glance towards WAES.
I don't mind, Devin. Can we see a map real quick?
Yeah.
Oh wait, never mind. You're not, I don't want you to start that up just for me.
Don't worry about it. I'll just screenshot the Vallaki city map and send it to you guys in the Discord.
That works.
Oh,
So
cool.
go ahead. I'll have it ready in a minute. So if you guys are ready, is everybody joining REYLYNN? WAES, did you want to make any other? Did you want to split and go somewhere else, or are you following REYLYNN?
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to look at the map again and think about it, like, is it way out of the way, or is one...
The orphanage is right across the street.
Right.
Blue Water Inn is in the middle of town. You guys are very close to the western gate right now.
So yeah, I'm fine going with him to the orphanage to make sure the kids are okay.
Yeah, let's do that for now.
All right.
Also, the people we sent there. We sent quite a few people there, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
All the commoners.
The parishioners from the street. We took them over to the orphanage.
Rather than lead them straight to the church full of vampire spawn and bats.
As we're approaching, I'm going to send a message to Lady Velasco, or right? That's her, the lady who's in charge.
Yep.
Yeah. As we're walking across the street, I'm going to send her a message, and I'm going to say, It is us. Don't be scared. We are coming to the front door. Everything is safe. You can open the door.
Okay.
You can
do
respond
get
to this message.
You do get an impression. So you hear sort of a startled response. What? Where? I hope this isn't a trick. Okay. I'm going to the door. I hope to see friendly faces there. Yeah, that's the message you received back. As everyone else kind of heads over there and you get to the door, she is waiting on the other side, sort of looking through one of the side windows through some metal bars, and certainly confirms all of your identities with her eyes and quickly unlocks the door. And she says, "Is it safe? You wouldn't be coming back if it weren't safe, right?"
It is safe. The church is safe again. And, well, I have not seen any more vampire on the streets. I do not believe they will be returning.
Oh, I'm so glad they didn't come in here. Surely the legends must be true that they can't cross doorsteps, or else they would have surely killed us all.
Well, that appears to be the case, but we have not seen all the other houses just yet. I'm sure we will get more information.
Yes, and Yeska came back just a few minutes ago, sneaking through the back. He had such a shock to him. He wouldn't talk.
Yeska has been through maybe more than any of us tonight.
Oh.
He was captured by the vampire, but kept alive. We don't know what they were going to use him for, but I'm sure it would have been against us, and beyond that, he saw his favorite hero fallen and now working to do Strahd's bidding. I can't imagine, but...
It's too much for his young mind. How could he possibly handle all of that?
He is a strong boy, and he will work closely with the father, and I believe he will...
The father, he's okay.
Yes.
The father made it.
The father did make it, and thanks to the father, all of the people that we sent over here, are they all right?
Yes, they all made it. I recognized them. They all got in. We saw plenty of dark forms crawling on the outside of the church across the street, but we got it all boarded up fast enough. There must be 12 or so in the kitchen right now, either eating or sitting. Everyone has either congregated there or gone to their bedrooms.
How is the boy Felix doing?
Felix is... He hasn't woken up yet.
It's been mere hours. He still needs more rest. And
his color has returned, though. His breathing is fine. I have enough basic medicine from my years of having to tend to these children that I know a healthy child and an unhealthy child. He seems to be getting better.
At that, Alexi's face brightens just a little bit.
I'm gonna start taking the folder out of my backpack, and I'm going to hand it to her and say, "I believe this is yours. It was handed to me after we visited here earlier."
She has a curious look on her face. It's not something she recognizes and starts flipping through. This appears to be my files. Yes, this child. I haven't thought about him in years. Let me see if she puts 2 and 2 together. Let's do a basic intelligence roll. Yeah, with a 12. Sure, she kind of makes some connections, and she says, You couldn't be that Ray, could you?
As she looks up at me, I concentrate so that my eyes sort of do their glowing bit.
Yes, those eyes. Those eyes. Everyone commented on those eyes. It's been decades. And her face kind of turns aghast, and she says, You didn't get out. How? No. We tried everything to get you out of this land. Why are you here?
I did I did get out, and it's all thanks to you. I appreciate everything you have done for me. I did get out, and I trained, and I have been brought back here, but for a reason. Every one of us is here for a reason.
She kind of backs up and holds a hand out to steady herself and finds herself sitting in like a stool all of a sudden, looking for a place to get off of her feet as she's trying to process all of this.
I did not even remember the mist. I barely remembered any of my childhood.
Tell me, what was it like out there? Did you feel the sun?
The Morning Lord in all his glory, he is there, and the warmth of his sun is there every morning. With the
describe it. Tell me what it feels like.
It feels like warmth with no reason.
But not hot, right? Not too hot?
It can get hot. You don't want to be in the sun for too many hours a day, and depending on where you are at in the world, some places it can be just the right amount of hot when it is snowing. Other times it might be a bit much, but there is always shade and hopefully a breeze.
As she laughs with kind of tears in her eyes, and she says, I couldn't possibly imagine too much sun that you would seek shelter and shade from it. What a wondrous place you must have gotten to spend your life, REYLYNN.
Well, I'm not done yet, and I hope to not have to describe that feeling to you at some point. That is my goal, and what I believe I have been brought back here for, what we have been brought in here for. It appears maybe some of us back as well, as I sort of side glance at WAES.
Well, she definitely concedes with some relaxation and kind of wipes the tears of laughter and joy from her eyes and says, this is certainly a better place than it was yesterday. The darkness has been lifted. The shadows seem gone, and while we're still missing some boys that we hope to get back, I certainly think tomorrow is going to be a brighter day, sun or no.
Yes, hopefully, and I hope for the safe return of the boys that are missing, and we will still try to find out what we can. And
yes, Milivosh's note, he said the wolf hunters may know something. I can't imagine that they are on the trail of those boys, but if so, I believe they were heading west, out the gate the last they were seen. And she kind of glances off in that distance. And she says, I know there's already been enough miracles today, but if there's any more tomorrow, please think about those boys in your travels.
Indeed, we will try to look for them and look out for them to try and get any information we can. And
tell them it's safe. They ran from the orphanage because of the shadows I was talking about, but it's better now. I can tell, even though Milivoj is gone, Felix is better. The spirits of all the children are getting better. Tell them that's safe again. Tell them there's no reason to run.
We will do that.
Well, I must go tend the children. Is there anything I can do for you?
I start to say I would like to see Yeska, but then I kind of pause and think maybe he should rest a minute. What do you think?
So you are basically still in the stairwell right now. Kind of the entryway hallway with all the handprint, collages on the walls and the stairs just to your right. And you notice whenever you say the name Yeska, there's sort of a short blonde sort of flash right at the bottom of the stair, the top of the stairway. There's like a little flash of yellow, and Yeska comes running down the stairs, pound, 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 and wraps his arms around you. He says, I haven't gone to sleep. I had to know what happened. You're okay. You're okay.
I am, and more importantly, so are you, Yeska.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can run real fast. I was able to hide. They weren't any big deal.
You were meant for great things, and you are so strong. It was a pleasure to see how you handled yourself out there today, and I am so glad that you were safe.
We gotta be strong. We all gotta be strong for Milivoj. He was the strong one before, but now he's gone, and someone else has to be strong. I've got his shovel, and I can do his work at the graveyard. I'll take care of things over there. You don't need to worry.
The Father will appreciate all of your help, and you should study with him. He can help you.
Yes, he's my new best friend besides you.
Have you heard of the rumors of the festival still happening?
Oh, God, not another one.
Well, I hope to see you there. It may be one of your more memorable festivals.
Well, if you're going to be there, this one might actually be fun. We're going to go, right? We're going to go, right? As he looks up to Miss Bolesco, and she goes, yes, all the children are going to go.
I sort of ruffle his hair and say, we must go check on others now, but I will see you shortly.
Okay, Miss Belasco, I'm going to go to sleep now, I promise. And pounds
Wait.
back up. Oh, yeah. He spins around halfway up the stairs.
Your courage is thunderous, little one. I'm very impressed by you. Never lose that spirit.
You're big. We should duel sometime.
Oh, I could not beat you.
No, probably not, but I could teach you.
Let's do this sometime.
Yeah.
As he runs up the stairs, IREENA kind of looks after him and remembers very purposefully turning away from him to go after Corinth.
Yeah.
And making the choice not to save his life.
ZAPH just he wants to say sorry, but Yeska's little mind wouldn't understand why I was saying sorry.
Yeah, and he doesn't notice anything. He just waves goodbye to all of you. Big loose elbow and wrist, and runs off to bed.
Can I roll an insight check to see if I catch any of that?
Sure.
Just ZAPH and IREENA just like dead faced.
It's gonna be a 24.
Of course,
I mean, I can
advantage with
can-
a +9. So.
I can try and
Try a deception if you're trying to hide it. Yeah.
Deception?
If
No,
you're not wearing it on your face.
I rolled a 5.
That's a 24. So I don't know who wins in this game.
I think it's a push and nothing happens.
Well, yeah, let's say he's the Stoic Angel is hard to read, but IREENA doesn't have much face to hide, and you're seeing everything.
I sort of put my hand on IREENA's shoulder and say, he is alive and well because of everything we did. There was no bad decision tonight.
Sure, I nod.
Only bad
wanna-
decisions. Good.
Go
I
ahead.
want to also just kind of with Miss Valesco once again just kind of apologize for her loss of Milivoj and just kind of assure her that he didn't die in vain and that we will carry on his memory.
And she kind of takes a big breath in and steadies herself, sort of steels herself, and you see her kind of lock her jaw and lower her brow a little bit into the warrior pose that she needs to take when she's trying to take care of 25 kids. And she says, Milivoj lived a life. It wasn't a long life, but it was a great life. He'll be remembered more than most, and that's as much any of us can ask. We'll honor him, but we will not grieve so long that it interferes with our own joy in life. It must be embraced, especially after tragedies like today.
I'm gonna cast Dancing Lights and it can take a vaguely humanoid form. So above the children and kind of where she's sort of looking at, I'm going to cast a light image of Milovoj with like 2 wings on his back and just let it float there for a moment.
You hear a gasp from the kids like they just saw Santa Claus kind of come down the chimney. And there aren't a lot of words. You see a few of them sort of reach up, but most of them all sort of huddle up together underneath him, trying to get as close as possible, looking up with the light of Milovoj's image bouncing off the young faces and some of them tearing up. Many have gone to bed, but 4 or 5 still remain down here to see this miracle in their eyes and to spread the word of it to the other kids when they wake up.
And he kind of waves and then goes out.
Nice closure for the kids. They all sort of find pairs of their best friend down here and they all hug it out. Nobody's left alone.
Okay.
As a side note, I've been listening to like angelic harp music this entire session, and it's enhancing the emotional impact a lot.
Nice.
That's cool.
I'll post it in the Discord if anybody wants to listen.
Perfect.
All right.
All right.
Where to now?
Yeah, up to you guys.
Where did you want to go to the inn next?
According to the map, it seems to be the most logical place to go next, unless we wanted to stop by Blinksy's toys first, which was...
We know he's okay.
I believe
also
the
the
inn is
mansion.
mostly on the way anyway.
Well, going to
That's
the inn
true.
is, we are going there to rest for the night, no?
You kind of go to the inn and
mean-
take a right to get to Blinsky's toys. I mean, obviously, it's all pretty close together.
Yeah.
But yeah, you do kind of, if you're taking the main roads, you go up to the main intersection and take a right to get to Blinsky's from the Blue Water Inn.
I'm
Yeah,
exhausted.
let's go to the inn. I heard they made it, so...
It's
So
I
are
do
we
not think Zaphael
while we are
should sleep
tired,
here.
it's not late at night yet. It's
Not. It's right after dusk, basically, with the sun just starting to set.
What I'm asking is, are we going somewhere else after the inn, or are we just staying there?
Potentially, I escort the sons back to the Wachter mansion, which is pretty close to the inn.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not far at all.
I look at
There's
Zav
also-
and say, I believe we will all be sleeping at the church.
Oh, yes. Mhm.
That's a good idea.
Okay, let's go to the inn.
I was just gonna say though, do we know where Isaac went? Do we want to check on him at all?
You don't have any sign of that right now.
We should probably
You
check
do-
on him tomorrow.
So while
once
we're
he
walking
calms
As
down.
you-
around, I'm just gonna
as you look
walk
around,
watched.
Yeah, exactly. As right as you get outside into the graveyard, you do notice a couple of sort of blasts close to the door. Nothing directly at it, but you notice a few missed shots on the building, and then some in the graveyard. If you want to try and track them down, you can certainly spend some time to do that. They seem to get pretty sporadic, halfway through the graveyard. It's not quite a trail of breadcrumbs, but there are signs of his departure.
He'll find you, if anything.
That's true.
He's fucking gonna track you.
Yes, he's may still be dangerous, and we are not ready for that. We should let him come to us in his time.
Smart choice. This is how I know you are wise.
To the inn.
All right, you go down the street, snowflakes falling as the sun finally sets behind the gates and casts that first loom of darkness. Temperature drops, 5-10 degrees almost immediately as any warmth from the sun is now gone and the city is cast in shadows. You can see the work continue on the streets, the few remaining men hauling bodies from the gutters into piles at the intersections. Plenty of wounded being tended to, and some last remaining fires being put out. What you mostly see is a lot of scavenging. Most of the current citizens seem occupied in grabbing materials from the houses that have been damaged, destroyed, or otherwise vacant. So they're all pretty occupied right now. And you guys arrive at the inn without any problems. You don't see many signs of life outside, but The doors, windows, everything still sort of barricaded up. You see one dead vampire on the front porch who had succumbed from one of the traps. Another one upstairs that had been caught up in the netting and had been taken care of by the group. No current activity of threats, and you can see sort of shadows moving back and forth inside the barricaded windows. Evidently, there's some activity going on inside.
I'm going to send message as we're approaching to the head guy. What's his name, guys? The main.
Martikov? I forgot the first name. It's Martikov.
Yeah, to Mr. Martikov. And I'm going to say, it is us. We are coming. You can open the door. It is safe.
Right. Yeah, and they open it even before you guys get there as Danica's looking around eagerly, looking to find you all. And you see her certainly disheveled in her sort of kitchen-made, rags and clothes and apron that's been slashed in places, a little bit of blood on her mouth, but overall very vibrant and a big smile on her face. And she welcomes you all in as there's a big fire in the hearth, and as you all enter, you see a lot of familiar faces. The Voctor boys are both in there trying to put themselves to work in exchange for the shelter they gave them. And the boys are currently out of sight while you can hear, I forgot the husband's name too. I'm going to have to look that up.
Senior Martikov?
Yeah, no kidding. Everything just says Martikovs. And I have this NPC spreadsheet with like 125 people on it. And they're all spider leg connected is how their relationships. I need that right now. So anyway, the dad and the boys are in the kitchen hustling about. The Voctor boys are safe and sound, and Danica's inviting them all in. And she says, "Please, welcome, come in. We are so glad you are safe and alive."
As are we.
She says, "Yes, please come in. I want the clothes. I don't know what the situation is out there. Our reports say they are all gone, but we do not want to trust them until verified."
Yes, Urwin, it seems as though most of the vampire activity has ceased for the day.
Well, let's not let down our guard too early. We may still have work to do tonight. And Danica says, yes, dear. Please relax your heart. Remember, we are safe now, and even safer now that our friends have returned. Are you staying the night? Should we get your rooms ready?
I think we are going to need to spend the night in the church tonight, but thank you for the offer. Do you know where Melvin is?
Melvin? Oh, your steed. No. Last I saw, he was in the stables outside. I have not been out to check. We have plenty of work to do in here for now. Is he not in there?
We have not yet checked.
Oh.
I'll go check on him.
Okay, so IREENA kind of slips out the back, and this barn is basically the way you saw it last. The door has been kind of shoved open, and the horse, Lucilla, I think the horse's name was, has returned, but there is no sign of Melvin right now.
Okay, well, I just hang out there with Lucille for a while.
Okay.
Oh, Melvin, we have oats.
I'm going to ask just how much time we have before curfew.
You probably have about an hour after sunset for curfew, but you notice that there is a complete absence of guards in this town right now.
Martikovs, how do you plan on rebuilding? Do you have much rebuilding to do?
Yes, it will not be easy. We may need to send for our family at the winery. That is very sad. We have a tragic situation. Downstairs, a vampire made it in. We were able to kill it, but in the fight, all of our wine stores were destroyed. So we have a compiling problem. 2 weeks without wine, and now the rest of it gone here. We need our family's support, but... Irwin, do you want to tell them? And Irwin says, I can't go speak to my father. I can't. He needs to come here. I can't leave anyway, as he, tries not to bring up another argument with Danica. But he says, my attention is here. I have no one to send. I am going to be here fixing the inn. What do you expect of me, woman? And she says, I expect you to talk to your father and figure out where a fucking wine is. And so they're sort of devolving back into an old fight as it seems pretty dire.
Why don't you send one of the ravens to go talk to him?
They have gone to the vinery. It is vacant. There is no one there.
Do you know where your family is?
They're supposed to be there making our wine. They're very, very skilled, clever people. I anticipate there was trouble. They were not able to send message, but I don't know what happened. That's why he needs to come here, as he looks back at Danica. He knows where we are. Why hasn't he shown up yet? And she goes, I don't know. Something is wrong.
Maybe he's dead.
Have we already...
That kind of takes the breath out of both of them.
I'm sorry, I just mean that maybe you should go look for them.
If they're all dead, Erwin says very, very somberly, it means the end of wine for Barovia. It means the end of happiness for basically anyone here with any kind of life in their eyes.
I can make wine.
How much?
As much as supplies can offer, but I haven't made it in a very long time. I have to warm up myself, Also, I have other duties to tend to, so I can't spend all my time making wine, but I'm going to be able to
Doesn't exactly seem like a solution then, but, we need casks and casks of wine, especially after an event like this. Everyone is going to be pounding down our door looking for it, and we're going to be empty-handed and give them well water and rabbit stew. It is going to be tough here, but anything you can provide will help, at least the most desperate.
I say we help these poor people, our friends, with their vineyard.
I mean, I'm very worried about your family. I am super concerned. Are you not?
I think as soon as we're done here, we help them out with this, but
I think we can keep an eye while we are out, but we have other important business to attend still.
I mean, yes, this is not something that will happen tonight. I mean,
I have other important business to attend still. Do you remember that dragon? The image of the dragon.
Well, maybe one leads to the other.
I should admit, knowing that you have all ingratiated yourselves with many of our colleagues, it is not just the winery that is in danger. They are the central core of our spy network here in Barovia. With them missing, much of our infrastructure is weakened. Our ability to spy on Perez, Yester Hill, even looking for the werewolf den. We will not be able to do any of that without our infrastructure in place.
Could you help find lore on dragons?
I have some scouts. I could look for something. Dragons. What about dragons?
Well, then, would you like to say more?
Yeah, as soon as I scratch my head and
I was about to say, what about dragons?
I was going to say, did I miss something about dragons?
Kind of did.
Yeah, you guys, well, I don't remember if anyone else saw the
They didn't see it, but you described it to them.
I described it to them. I need to find a place that was described as the Silver Dragon's house. And it is a place that was clean and is now corrupted. But I believe it was the Order of the Silver Dragons. Well, I don't know if there was an actual silver dragon. I did see a faint image of one, but not one actually there, if that makes sense.
And Danica kind of raises an eyebrow, and she's like, do you mean those silver knights? Stories of silver knights that would take down Strahd, fairy tales.
Those are the ones.
What is it?
I mean, they are fairy tales. Is this what you are doing with your time? This is why you're seeking out Jack and the Beanstalk. What is this?
I guarantee you with all of my life that they are not fairy tales. And
Well, if you want to go, there is a dilapidated castle, dozens of miles south of here. That is where the Silver Knights are said to have lived.
yes, I believe someone pointed it out on our map. We just don't know how to get there.
Sure. I mean, it is going to be a rough ride unless you are all flying. Not flying. Okay. Well, if you are not flying, it will be difficult, but there is a path. It is not impossible. It is old. It is overgrown. It's not well traveled, but deer and certain larger game out in the wilderness, far away from cities, still use paths like that. Probably not deer. Whatever Barovi's equivalent of deer is.
Direwolves.
Right? Direwolves. There you go. Whatever the large herbivores are there. I got to figure out what a large herbivore Barovia would be. Elk, probably. I'm going to go with elk. All right, sure.
Reasonable.
Yeah, the occasional elk would use it as a game trail, but Argynvostholt is a rich history and no one knows much about. So who am I to second guess the clues that you have been picking up? Perhaps we have missed something.
Have they already pointed out to us on our crude map where the winery resides?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
Do you want me to bring up like a overall Barovia map?
Yeah, we haven't seen that map in a while.
Sure. And again, I'll just paste it so you guys don't have to worry about logging it in. That's easier.
So we do this favor for you, and you give us information on this Argynvostholt and how to get there, and make it easier for us. This is a good trade, yes?
Yes, you all have earned any sort of gratification you could ask for. We are in your debt. We would not have survived the night, I am sure, without your assistance. That being said, some of the traps you laid are beyond even our skill. Perhaps you could help take some of them down so we don't hurt ourselves.
Of course.
Just a second.
Yeah, I can get to taking apart traps.
Why don't you guys just bring up Foundry whenever you want. So there's no hurry, and then we can kind of use our cursors to point stuff out. Otherwise, it would kind of get awkward. All right. So she definitely feels like she's in your debt. She'll go around and help, and tells the Vokta boys to lend a hand as well. She's kind of been ordering them around as if they're the same age as her own sons, and help clear out any of the untriggered traps that were left behind. You can definitely hear the Vokta boys that are sort of telling stories that after you've been there 5 or 10 minutes, you start hearing the same story kind of come again and again, but it's kind of getting grander and grander each time. Like, at the beginning, it was, did you see me, stick my sword through that hole? And I think I got him in the side. And then all of a sudden it becomes like, I was one-on-one dueling with that vampire and he slashed, but I dodged and I got him back. And then, the other one's like, but I killed that other one by setting that trap myself. And they're obviously just sort of elaborating and taking credit and really excited about the fight now that they know they're safe.
And we all walk in covered in blood, both ours and Vampire Spawn's blood.
Right. They're basically unharmed. Their clothes are a bit disheveled, but that's just as much from the cleanup and the preparation as it was from the actual battle. Whereas you can tell Erwin and Danica and even the boys were definitely in close range and mixing it up.
So it looks like on this map the winery is actually on there.
It's this W over here. If you see my cursor.
Wait, I'm on
I don't
the landing page.
Me too.
Sorry, let me activate this one, I guess. Activate.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, the landing page
The
actually had
Vallaki city map.
like labeled winery or whatever.
Gotcha. Yeah. I wasn't sure which one would be easier to look at.
The landing page is pretty zoomed out, so once this loads, this will probably be. Good old 99% loading. There we go.
So my cursor over on the western side next to the words Svalich Woods, it's got a W. That's where the winery is. Happy to point that out to you.
There's no W on my view. I wonder if you've got like different layers.
Oh, maybe. Anyway, do you see my cursor?
Yeah.
Yeah, no W, but I see that field looking place.
Yeah,
over there.
There you go. That's the winery over there.
Okay, and we're currently. Is this where we're at?
You're in Vallaki, right up
Yeah,
here.
it's not labeled, so. I got no labels, so.
Yeah. Just
Okay.
keep an eye on my cursor, I guess. Here's Vallaki up here. So you're kind of at this intersection.
Okay. So yeah, I'll ask. What's the best route to take? Where can we safely stay each night? Those kind of like general travel questions.
Yes. So they give you their best advice, but you realize that none of them have ever taken the roads there. They're not saying it overtly, but they say it is best to avoid, traveling at night. I recommend getting there as fast as possible. We tend not to camp when we travel. We tend to push through until we get there. And you get the impression that they probably send, ravens more often than traveling by foot or by cart.
How long does it take to?
You can make
fly there?
make an insight check just so I decide how much innuendo to use.
29 off a nat 20.
Oh man!
Nice.
All right, so if it hasn't been determined yet, the Order of the Feather are a group of were-raven spies, and everyone in the Order is a were-raven. And so while they're not coming out and saying it directly, they're implying that they do not travel by road when they go. And whenever the family needs to send wine, they tend to hire villagers to take the wine. And they sort of observe, and they just drive through the entire time.
When you hire villagers, how long does it take them to get here?
It is tough to say with road conditions, but a day, usually. One day we leave before it is light, and we try to get here as fast as possible before it is dark. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it does not.
Okay. Well, this trip will be easier with Melvin, so if he comes back, and I get out some oats from my backpack bucket, and, please give these to him. And speaking
Yes.
of food...
May I make a recommendation?
Yes.
Take more than one steed. Take 4 even. Drive them, hitting the ones in front harder, driving them faster. When they are exhausted, let them go. Let the fresh ones take over. Even bring extra steeds with you so that they can take the place of tired ones in front. Do whatever you can to avoid traveling at night.
Do you have steeds that we would be able to use?
The Wachter stables. We have 3. You are welcome to them. But they need to be brought back. They are how we get the cart back. We have an exchange back and forth. We send some back after the tired ones are here to get them back to the winery. Bring them back if you can, but yes, we are in your debt. If you check on the stables, the Wachter stables, they will have message from us that you can take the steeds. And the Wachter stables were sort of like across the street from the Arisek stockyard where you first came into town and saw Rictavio doing his show. Kind of across the street from there on the eastern side of town is where the Arisek stockyard is, or where the Wachter stables are.
Okay. I have an out-of-character question.
Okay.
For sending, the spell sending, it says I can send a message to a creature with which I am familiar. How familiar? Like, do I have to have seen them, or if they give me like a really good description, would I be able to do this potentially?
I think you have to at least have met them. I mean, it even says that they recognize you as the sender if it knows you. I mean, I get...
It knows you.
Yeah, but like, how familiar could you be, you know, without meeting somebody?
Yeah.
Like, Isik, if you're telling me Isik is familiar enough with you, REYLYNN, from like his dreams, even though he's never met you, I think I would buy that. Right? It takes an intimate level of familiarity, in my opinion, if you haven't actually met, and somehow remotely.
Yep. No problem. Just one try.
Sure.
Do they have? I'm assuming they don't. They're not the ones that make it. But would they possibly have any ingredients to make wine, like on hand, even just a small batch?
Zero. If you're talking to them about this, yeah, they mentioned that only cold weather root vegetables tend to grow around here, and that the winery is a very, very special place, blessed and bestowed onto the family generations and generations ago. And those grapes are a very, very special part of Barovia, and it would be a tragic loss to lose them.
All right. I have my own special recipe that I would like to get back into the habit of making. But of course, helping your family is of utmost importance in this situation.
If the crops are growing, we would be happy to try. We have only had 3 types of wines for hundreds of years. Do you know how valuable a 4th would be?
Especially as good as mine. Trust me.
Oh, I believe you. We have to do what we have to do. There are no grapes discarded in our process. I imagine your recipe is delicious. We do not have the benefit of outsider information or learning. We can only trial and error. So, yes, we would be happy. We are not too proud to take help from outsiders.
At least you might know that my family is a family of popular winemakers. So,
and if you are here in Barovia long enough, perhaps you can even sample the first, whatever you call them, batch.
Yeah.
There you go.
Vintage.
First vintage. Yeah.
Yeah. ZAPH, I mean, we have other things it tends to, but ZAPH wants to make some wine, so maybe add that to the list of things that he definitely wants to do.
They say, yes, the vine is very important, but it is not just the vine. It is the infrastructure, and it is the land. It is very, very special land, and if it falls into the wrong hands, it can be used for dire purposes. You will find out more when you get there.
Do any of our main tasks are any of them in Kresk?
I think you'll figure that out.
Okay, I was just
if you guys don't know already.
I mean, we heard it was a safe place for IREENA.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I think we should get these boys back to their mother, and kind of looking at these grown-ass men calling them boys is
right.
We're covered in blood, and they're like, I stabbed him in the side, or whatever.
Right.
And
yeah, spick and span.
I'm gonna, but I do have one more sort of long-term favor to ask you. I know that you must take care of you and yours, but on those days where you have extra food made, will you bring it to the orphanage and feed the kids there?
Yes, that should not be any issue at all. We tend to give it out outside whenever a curfew hits. We put the pot out for anyone who wants it. But yes, oftentimes it is simply all taken by one person, and it is hard to manage. So the orphanage would be a more suitable place. We'd be happy to.
Thank you.
Just like Halloween candy.
Right. Take one scoop, please. All right. So yeah, the Vokta boys here mention of possibly going home, and they both, oh man, my back and my knee. I got this injury. I really should kind of go get patched up. If you don't need our help around here anymore. And I think Danica and Erwin both look pretty ready to get rid of them. So what do you guys want to do?
WAES, you wanna lead the way?
I keep an eye out for them from the barn, and then when they come out, I'll join them.
Okay.
Yeah, have I undone all the traps and stuff?
Yeah. Certainly don't need a roll for you. You set them. You know how to take them down pretty easily.
Okay. Now, they want me to undo all the traps. They don't want me to leave any at all, just in case.
No. They definitely want them all taken down with their kids running around, and they saw how effective they were.
Sure, and they do fly, so they wouldn't want any on the roof or anything.
Right. Yeah, they do like the rooftop space for themselves. So there was enough time there that we can say that's all done. Certainly a lot easier to take down than it is to put up, and no problem there. If you deducted anything from your inventory for like the netting, you probably didn't, but if you did, you can have that rope back. Okay, go ahead, WAES.
Do we have time to head to the Wachter stables and get the horses and get them ready to leave first thing in the morning?
Whatever you'd like to do. It's still pretty early into the evening, and there doesn't seem to be any pressure from the city guard for everyone to return home. You still see plenty of citizens out, rummaging and scavenging and looting from the abandoned houses, and still putting out fire. Like, there's still plenty of activity on the street. Nobody seems to be abiding by the curfew right now.
Do we know that we're going to... I'm sorry, do we know that the festival is happening tomorrow?
No, I mean, you kind of hear whispers of people asking, like, what's the plan? Like, do we have to go? Does everybody have to go? So you're just kind of hearing whispers right now. There's no decrees, and there's certainly no word from the Burgomaster's mansion.
We did see people scavenging from houses, and we don't know what that was all about.
ZAPH, whether or not they're actually going to do it, he's going to start writing his little script.
Gotcha. You get that, like, my homework's due tomorrow feeling, and start working on what you have to do.
Yeah,
I think
he wants an outlet right now, so he's just going to start scribbling down some stuff.
So when WAES says that about the horses, I'm going to speak up and I'm going to say, WAES, I don't think we should leave first thing in the morning. There are still things we need to look after here. I think we should talk to Lady Wachter first.
Well, that's where we're headed right now, isn't it?
We do have the boys. We need to return them home safely.
Yeah. Before we decide to leave in the morning.
The boys seem ready. They're standing by the front door, sort of fidgeting and arguing about dragon chests.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, we can make the decision after Lady Wachter's if we want to go get the horses tonight or not. But, yeah, all right, let's go.
All right, so the boys kind of lead the way, strutting their walk and throwing their shoulders back, walking through the streets like heroes. Don't seem to be taking much mind to the suffering going on around them. Just really excited to go tell their mom all the cool stuff they saw and did. And it's only a few minutes before you pull up to the Wachter house. Let's go ahead and take 5, do a little bio break, and we'll come back.
Okay.
Hope you guys know that if ZAPH doesn't get the opportunity to say that speech at a festival, he's saying it to you guys as a group.
Oh, yeah.
He better.
This is what I would have said if we actually got the chance.
I've had like 2 different prayers that I've written out and not actually had a chance to use them. So,
yeah.
Well, in all fairness, it was like one and then a modified version of that one for new circumstances. But
I know that's one of the bigger reasons I wrote this is because like I've always been like not envious but like just super like surprised by like all the different like speeches and prayers that you guys have written. It's like I want to write something. ZAPH is supposed to be like the high society Renaissance era rich guy here.
Yeah, you should be all about the arts.
Yeah, I think ZAPH was more worried about partying and drinking wine than he was actually participating in fine arts. there's an art in wine. If
There's-
anything, that's his art.
There's very much an art and lots of science in wine.
Yeah. If there's anything that ZAPH takes pride in his family, because like when you're, I'm kind of playing. He's like that kid that doesn't really like. Yeah, his family's like super powerful, super big name, but what does that mean to you? Like, ZAPH doesn't really care. But there's one thing he was proud about, and that was that his family had like the best wine, the Neo Grigio wine.
Guys, I don't want to know what we're going to find at this winery.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I hate how good Devin is at making us feel peaceful. Because the very next minute he knows how to turn it right around and destroy our hearts. Listening to this music does not help. I feel like I'm at peace. I feel like I'm in a happy land, but it's death and destruction.
I need to go back through some of the older notes because I don't remember anything about Casimir and an Amber Temple on the overarching missions on the landing page.
Oh yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff that was like kind of told to us, and we'll know it eventually. But yeah. Oh, we haven't given Arabelle's doll, or have you even collected it yet?
We've got it. It was the one doll that we were able to thankfully get before everything happened.
Right.
Which is unfortunate because I'm also going to be disappointed if Yeska doesn't get his fighter doll that looks like him.
Yeah, I think Blinsky's alive, so we can. Blinsky's alive, so we can at least try and help him get that back and up and rolling.
Yeah. Hi, Grandma.
I know. I feel bad. I didn't realize. I forgot my camera's on. And she walked by like they can't. They can't see me, can they? It's like, oh wait, yeah, they can. It's fine. Acquire Strahd dolls. We did that. Meet with Baron. We did that.
Found the missing bones.
The only thing left on that we haven't done is the missing wine, which
Yeah.
is kind of something that's topical right now. And then
Well, that's kind of what I'm worried about is, like, it's topical, but is it our highest priority? But then at the
Maybe
same
not.
time, Devin's got a really good way of
Well,
making us feel like
metagaming,
everything
Devin
has to
was-
happen.
Metagaming Devin was leading us very carefully towards this
yeah,
winery.
I think he just wanted to make a point that it's not just like a side quest, like, oh, you're getting wine, whatever. I think he wanted to show like this isn't just a business thing. This is like, you know, vital for our success also.
Right.
I don't think he is trying to push us in any direction, just kind of point out that it's not just, you know. But once we get this tome, that's one big major, you know, checkbox checked off. We might be able to, you know, spare some time for some side stuff. I mean, not just side stuff, but stuff that'll help us out.
Yeah, so if we're not going to go to the winery first thing in the morning, and I'm imagining that's because we want to be here for the festival, is that the motivation behind that?
Remnants of whatever's left, but also, I mean, you gotta finish up with Blinsky. I want to do some. I don't know. I mean, would there even be anybody to buy a? I know. I don't even know if there's going to be anybody to buy a chess piece from us, but I really want to get my skull thing so I can start casting
a chess piece.
The armor that we got from Delarm. I was thinking we can sell that and then use the funding to get my skull gilded.
I mean, I think we determined that we've got enough flat out gold, especially if you gilded it yourself.
Yeah, it's 300 gold's worth, so I think Devin said we might be able to save some if we make it ourselves. I don't know.
Yeah, because the whole skull itself, including the work, has to be worth that much. So I think he was going to let you do it for 250. 250, 200? 200 sounds
I don't
cheap.
I mean, yeah. At least it's not consumed. So once I make it, it's made. I don't know. I really want to use it though. It's not even like it's not gonna be that use. It's not gonna be useless against like undead either. It has some damages that do like yeah, there's one that does slashing.
You do slashing.
Huh?
I'll slash you. I'll slash your mama. What?
What we are going to need to sort of prioritize is trying to find some form of magical weapons for.
Yeah.
For what?
I believe
You.
IREENA and
For me?
ALEXI.
Yeah, I fucking suck. I have nothing against vampires.
We'll get that handled.
IREENA's a lower priority because spells, but
I don't need a magical weapon.
And WAES has psychic blades you can always use.
yeah, no, those were tearing them up. That was
That's one thing I've awesome about the psychic blades is the the bonus action. Like I know there was a couple times where we kind of got confused because oh, you use your bonus action, you can't use your add your modifier. But that's one stipulation with the psychic blades. It has an extra bonus action attack that actually allows you to add your modifier to it. It's awesome.
right.
So
That's the day.
yeah, like I said before, I created one for the Dragon Ball campaign that I was in. It was super fun to play.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we should go to the Vistani camp too. We got to give the Strahd doll to Arabelle.
Yeah, we were saying that.
They're gonna give us the magical stuff.
I mean, that's something that if we're not going to the winery tomorrow, we could get down and back to the city with plenty of time. And collect our rewards for whatever they wanted that doll for. Now, that's assuming that we still
We
get
should
the
do that in the
rewards, 'cause
morning.
this is not the actual doll, it's just another doll. But
I don't think they want the lightning death doll.
I think she just wanted the
self-destructing
Strahd
lightning
looking doll.
doll.
I think she was just rebellious young Vistani girl wanted the Strahd dog.
Who
It's cool.
Who has that thing? REYLYNN, is that you?
I think it's ZAPH. Right,
Oh,
you're
ZAPH
holding
has it?
everything, ZAPH? No, who's holding everything?
I was the one that asked if it was ready.
Yes, so it's you.
Oh, it's not me.
I have my Raven. That's my little toy to play with.
Sounds like Ray, you have it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't add it to my inventory, but I don't have a mention of anyone else taking it, so I will add an item.
Although I would like to give it to her, if you don't mind. If you don't want to, you can.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
you
I
can
think
add it
we're
to your
supposed
inventory.
to-
That's fine.
I think we're supposed to give it to her uncle or her dad.
Right, that's fine.
But you could do that. Okay. So, Lady Voctor?
Yeah.
Yep.
And we all
All
link
right.
arms and we start skipping down the street thinking about all the great things we've actually done that we didn't realize we did.
Definitely don't skip.
Oh, go ahead.
I know you said before, people really don't care, but is there anybody anywhere that, respects us or anything, that kind of nods at us? Can we get any acknowledgement?
Yeah, I mentioned that. Certainly the key players in the town who know a little bit more about you, like the father and Mrs. Velasco and Yeska, certainly all have looked up to you and admired you. Most people are looking at you, first of all, most people aren't even looking at you. As I mentioned in the summary, the vast majority, I'd say 70-80% of the ones you come across are just looking straight through you, don't even notice that you are a half-orc or an angel or skin sloughing off. It just doesn't have anything to do with them. Of the ones who remain, the rich, as you get into this part of town and surrounded more by nobles, you are seeing more of those sideways glances. More of, these are the foreigners in town who, like it or not, these are the guys who are kind of responsible for what just happened. either they drew the wrath of the devil or something, but you seem to see a lot of accusatory looks, especially in the noble parts of town. When you were traveling from the church to the Blue Water Inn, it was more commoners and there was more shuffling people to the other side of the street to give you a wide berth, a few people sort of nodding in acknowledgement of what you've done, and some curiosity, of kids and onlookers sort of gawking and then being rushed along by their more modest companions. So it's definitely been a mixture.
Okay.
So you guys get up to the Wachter house. The sight of it, a bit startling. This thing looks like it wants to die. It's covered in vines and it seems kind of dilapidated and crumbling, and this sort of awful aura about it. But the sons are giddy and rush right in, calling out, "Mom, Mommy, Mom, we're safe. We're back. We're heroes." And, they just kind of leave the front door open with you guys on the stoop as they rush off to find their mom. What do you guys want to do?
I follow them.
I stay behind her.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you guys wander in, you do hear her voice calling from sort of the salon on the other side of the house. "My dear boys, you're home. Oh my God, I didn't believe it. Oh." And she just embraces them and, a tight hug as her boys are home. And you see Ernst sort of twiddling his thumbs in the corner, his spectacles and his purple coat on, just sort of looking at you all with a suspicious look.
They fought bravely.
I doubt that. I bet they cowered in a corner. And they're like, "No, we killed like 4 vampires. We saved the inn." And she says, "Is that right?"
I don't know. Their contributions mattered, at least. I'll say that.
I'm gonna cover my mouth and I'm gonna cast message at Lady Wachter. And I'm gonna say, "Don't react. It's IREENA, or Tatiana, if you will. Ask to speak to me privately. It is worth your while."
As you see her eyes sort of shift back and forth and then settle on you, IREENA. And she, making eye contact with you, kisses, one of her boys on the cheek, and then the other one with her head sort of being between them as she's locked eyes with you. And she says, "We certainly have a lot to talk about. You all came back. You fulfilled your promise of keeping my boys safe, although they would have never left my house if it weren't for your encouragement. But you're allowed an audience at least. Those of you who would like, make yourself comfortable in the kitchen. Boys, I want you to go clean up. Anyone who would like to talk, please follow me to the salon." And she, kind of turns around, shuffles the boys upstairs into their washroom, and goes into the next room, followed by Ernst. She points down the hall and says, "The kitchen's in there if you need any refreshments."
I'm gonna follow her.
I too start
And then-
following her.
I'm gonna close the door behind me.
Okay, Braylon, you get a door in your face with ALEXI sort of bumping up behind you as he was following you as well. WAES, what are you doing right now?
Looking for the tome.
Of course he is. Of fucking course he is. Yes,
Okay.
he is.
Okay, so you're in basically the breakfast nook / entryway right now by yourself. If you are spending your time looking around, you can make an investigation roll.
I guess I'll just roll. It is a +3 for me for 22.
Awesome. You do look around. You find a few things. No Tome of Strahd. No magical artifact that you're looking for.
It's not just laying on the kitchen table.
It's not, unfortunately.
I have a feeling I'm going to use that very good roll on the kitchen and
Find some tasty snacks. But you do find in sort of an office area that she has a journal of hers, a faded black book with some handwritten notes inside. Do you want to look at it?
absolutely.
So what you read says, "A new journal for a new era of my life. I have met with Lord Strahd, and I see that he is not a devil. My life has changed forever. Majesto will be by my side, and I shall be the hand of Strahd within Vallaki. Baron Vargan was wrong. Even before his life-changing moment, I could see that nothing he did was helping Vallaki. On my return visit home, I stopped at Serpool and received a reading. Here is my prophecy, given to me by a Vistani seer woman. First, there shall be a coming of an outsider to Vallaki, foreign to this land. The coming of this outsider shall mark the beginning of a new age in Vallaki. The coming of this outsider shall bring a great ruin, a purge on the town like none other. But when that ruin is done, the blood of the outsider shall shed sunlight on Vallaki yet again. Mother and father do nothing. Outside, a man was beaten to death for suggesting that Kresk might be a better place to live. I cannot stand this. I clutch my journal closer. Majesto has shown me how to scry. Looking into the past, I can see more than I ever dreamed. I will continue to delve. The last note says, my scrying sessions have shown me so much. I now know what I must do to save Vallaki, but secrets are not safe when written down. I must keep my own counsel from now on.
Very interesting, I say, and I wonder what scry means, I say.
Can you say that loud? Or not can you? Do you say that loud?
Out loud?
Does your
He's in
character
another
say
room,
that?
like.
Like you have magic using friends. Do you want to go ask them?
Yeah, that's what ZAPH is like. That's what I'm trying to imply because it's like out of everyone, ZAPH might know.
Is anybody in the room with me or close by? Or
You're sort of through an open entryway, not in another closed room. So they see you shuffling around and looking at books here or there, and it doesn't take you long to get through this. So what you share is up to you.
Okay, well then I'd I'd be like, you know, kind of bring the book over and hold it up, and ZAPH seems to show a look of interest, so I'll point it over at ZAPH and point at it.
I don't know if I have to roll anything, but I remember what was that eye that we saw?
Yeah, like it's like an arcane eye.
Yeah. I feel like ZAPH has heard of something like that. I don't know if you want me to roll anything to see if I know what it is, but maybe Arcana.
Yeah, make an Arcana check or a History check, your choice.
Sure, I'll roll History if you don't mind.
Nope, that's fine. Because honestly, if you're learning about it not as a spell user, it would be just as likely to be from history, I think.
Of course. I rolled a 19 and a 2, but the 2 was the one that I stuck with, so 5.
Okay, I mean, the word looks familiar to you. It seems like a magical word. You probably don't know the implications or nuances of the spell. But you probably know enough to know that's some type of spell.
Gotcha. And based on the context, I can tell it's some type of spell that can give you information.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. It says, my scrying sessions have shown me so much. So you know enough to know it's a spell that shows you something.
Right. It almost sounds familiar. But my knowledge upon it does not go much farther than the fact that it is a spell that gives you some information somehow. Though it might be something to keep in mind for future reference. Maybe something new we learn might come back and help with this. Open up some new doors to new information.
So, speaking of doors, as one slams in my face.
I'm gonna say as I'm closing the door, give me a moment, please.
I look over at ALEXI and I'm like, well, to the kitchen?
I'm going to listen and see what I can hear. She is not stable. I don't trust her.
Make a perception check. If you have advantage from your hearing, then you can use that.
Oh, I do have advantage with my hearing. I have not updated all of my stats, but I think I have this.
Wish you'd let me say what I was gonna do because now it just seems like a cop-out, but okay.
No, it's okay. She can roll, and then that's just what her ability is.
Nat 20.
Okay. Well, REYLYNN is kind of turning his attention from the door while this newfound focus and sharpness to his senses perks ALEXI's slightly shrunken down ears as they almost seem to be receding about 10% back into his skull, sort of sharpen and key towards the door. IREENA, what's happening on the other side of that door?
So, knowing full well that REYLYNN and ALEXI are on the other side of the door, I cast message at Lady Voctor.
Okay. So she's getting used to this, and she's heard your voice in her head. So I think she's getting used to this and knows that she can respond. Of course, you are, using some verbal components to send the message.
Yes.
Right. So they hear you probably just spattering some arcane nonsense on the other side of the door.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm going to say to her, tomorrow I will kill your burgomaster.
And she replies, I could kill the burgomaster. It is no feat. What about Isaac?
I think Isaac has other interests now, other than the burgomaster. His brother is in the other room. He has a deep loyalty to him.
Now, what you think is not very concerning to me. I have seen Isaac grow up. I have been here with the burgomaster for decades. I understand your Isaac may have found some long-lost family, and that's very sweet. But that dog belongs to someone, and when that someone yanks his leash, it doesn't matter how nice that dog is to anyone else.
Let us assume we can handle Isaac.
Let us assume.
If I kill your burgomaster publicly, in front of everyone, are you ready to take the city?
Yes, there is no doubt. With Isaac gone, the city will be under control. The burgomaster, the guards, there will be no worries.
So all we would have to do is take Isaac away.
No. Dead. I want his body.
And if that happens, you take the city. And you get us out.
You give me Isaac's body, I take the city. It becomes much better than it is right now. You know what the burgomaster does, even though you are new here, right?
I understand some of it. Is something going to happen to the children tomorrow?
The children, who knows? He's locked children in the stocks for not being happy enough. Sometimes the people he locked up are left for days. If not for the Martakovs, those saints, they would starve to death, or at least dehydrate to death. But they sneak them food and water in the night behind the guards' backs. It's the only reason the children survive through the long nights when they're locked up, simply for laughing at the wrong time or not smiling when they're supposed to. He employs a child murderer. This Isaac you seem to want to rescue, he has killed many children. He has laughed while he does it. These are the people you're interested in protecting. I don't understand it.
Perhaps I'm mistaken.
Give me Isaac's body, the city will be mine. The guards, the ones who do not resist, will be spared. We will protect the city. We will reman the walls. We will end the festivals immediately. You can stay or go. It is your choice. There will be no harm for you here.
You know how your master feels about me, yes?
Strahd is not my master. We are family friends. He is misunderstood. He looks after this land the best he can with his other obligations in mind. I do not expect anything from him. Nobody should. Expect him to want his taxes. Expect him to want to not be disrespected. He'll stay out of his way and he will stay out of ours. I have known him for a long, long time. He is a reasonable man. He will not be mocked.
Interesting. All right. Well, I'm going to try and kill Isaac for you tomorrow then.
You have my best wishes.
Do you
I
have
will be-
anything that can help me?
No, but I will be watching. And if there is an opportune time to jump in, I will tell my people to do so. But to risk uncovering ourselves before victory is assured would be suicide if we don't succeed. So, if there is a good time to intervene, we will be watching.
I understand.
Enjoy the festival tomorrow. It's going to be a blast.
I laugh hollowly. And then I open the door and I walk back out to everybody. You'd like to speak with her. Oh, right before I leave, I'm going to tell her one last thing.
Mhm.
Let us keep this between you and I for now.
As you wish, I can keep secrets.
Okay, then I'm going to go and open the door and no one's there. Or no, they are there. Are they
Oh,
still
yeah.
there listening?
Well, you're on mute. You're on mute, hun.
Oh, okay. So as I hear those footsteps approaching, I just quickly get up and lean against the wall, like super casual.
Super cash.
Nothing is happening at all. How'd that conversation go? Was it good? It was so quiet. I mean,
Yeah, you didn't need to be anywhere near the door to hear it. So yeah, you certainly could have been away from it.
Well, he wouldn't have heard any of that
I didn't hear
except
anything,
for
but he
my.
messaged all of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Just the spellcasting part.
Yeah.
And out of context, I did not put any of that in the notes.
Okay. That's just for you.
Just for
Okay.
you.
I think it's fair to say that WAES and I would have put the notebook back long before they came out, but I'm just gonna be like,
Is
kind of
that-
walk.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, if you're saying you did it.
I don't know if you're alright with that. I think we
I was
took
just-
one look with one look
Kinda
at the
depends on
word.
ways. All right. Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, sorry about that, WAES. But ZAPH certainly didn't want to get caught, so if WAES was planning to stick around, he
I
would.
definitely would have been of utmost speed, and also trying to cover more area too.
Sure.
Well,
Yep, you managed to get through in the time that she was in there, process through the information, and get it put back into place. And that's when you hear the door open, and IREENA comes out. What is next? As I guess Lady Fiona actually comes out and asks how everyone is getting on. Did you get food? Did you get drink? Was there anything else?
I have not yet, but may I now take some to go?
By all means. I want you all full of energy tomorrow.
That'll take a lot.
Is there any wine?
Yeah, is there any wine?
I have a carafe or two, yes, in the kitchen, bottom cupboard next to the door. And you do find 2 carafes of wine in there, which is, enough for about 8 glasses of wine or so.
I'll take a glass now.
Yeah, after a day like this, I'm gonna pour myself a glass.
Yeah, she doesn't seem to have any housekeepers, although she does live in a manor. There's no cook or housekeeper or anybody else evident in the house. Chantel, real quick, ALEXI, what was your perception roll again?
24.
With that, I will say
20.
that you also catch some whispers, sort of very muddled, coming through many layers of wood and stone, some whispers coming from the basement.
Okay.
Yes, so she kind of begins to say, I do have some boys who have had a hard night to check on. As I say, once you have fed and dined yourself on my wine, please let me know what else I can do, but it is getting late. I have to go check on the boys right now. I can leave you and return. Is there anything you need right now?
So I want to, as this is happening, I want to look at REYLYNN and kind of do this thing.
And I sort of mind link.
I heard some whispers from the basement. It's kind of strange. Do you want to try and check it out, or do you want to just ignore it?
I mean, the old man's probably down there, right? Why would that be strange?
What old man?
Well,
You mean
no,
the dead husband?
I thought there was
No, her servant guy.
yeah,
The
is
guy
he
with
not-
glasses, I think.
No, he was in the hallway, wasn't he?
Yeah, Ernst is has sort of been meddling around in the kitchen. You see him in there sharpening a knife right now. He was he didn't follow Lady Boctor into the room. He kind of went into the kitchen.
But he didn't go downstairs. Okay.
No.
I don't know. It was kind of weird. I don't know.
Any scones in here? Any?
Make a perception check.
Zap, you life-loving son of a bitch.
Listen, man, I haven't slept in like
I love
like
it.
12 hours, probably even more than, or no, way more than that. I haven't slept in like 40 something hours. I don't know. It's too hard to keep track, but I want food.
All right, what's your perception check?
15.
All right, no scones. What you do find are an assortment of apples. This late in the autumn, you see some green and red apples. They don't seem super sweet, but they are definitely edible. And you see some long baked rolls that are sort of like shrunk down somewhere between a breadstick and a baguette. That's just sort of, you know, a long log of dough that's been cooked up into an edible bread. It's not bad.
All right. Zaph is like respectively face stuffing. He's like checking to make sure no one's watching him and just.
Okay. You also find some blood sausage as you uncover more and more with that perception. There's a little bit of hidden blood sausage around there as well. You're not sure what the blood is from.
I'm gonna skimp on the meat. I don't want it to be kid meat and throw up again.
Everyone's coming out of Barovia vegetarian.
Yeah.
Lady Voctor, before you go, I want to know, if you could, how would you improve Barovia?
Well, the first thing I would do is get rid of the bloody festivals. Do you want more?
Yes, please.
We get rid of the curfew. We waste so much valuable time locked in our houses at night when we could be working, when there is nothing really to be afraid of.
How will you protect the people from the devil?
Protect from, that's like asking how you protect from your landlord. We make sure we have the taxes to pay. That is how I protect the people of Vallaki. We focus on our economy, we make sure our taxes are on time, and we protect ourselves from the wolves that are the actual killers.
How do you protect them from wolves, then?
We reinforce the gates. We draft a new brand of military that's not based on reinforcement of principles with a stick. We reform the military academy, and the volunteers will man the gates with more efficiency.
And what about the poor of this town, the orphans and such? How will you take care of the poorest people in your city?
I told you. We reinforce the economy. We make sure people have time to be productive. We get rid of the festivals so that people can actually attend to a trade or go to school or do something to better themselves, and people will succeed. We get out of people's way. That is my plan.
Okay, that sounds good to me. Let's go.
Very well. I will check on my boys. If anyone is left when I return, I will try to figure out why. And she goes upstairs.
I might have to be getting ready for bed in like 15 minutes. Or I'm not getting ready for bed, but like kind of slow.
Okay, so when she's gone, I'm like, guys, I totally don't trust her because I heard whispers in the basement. It was really, really creepy.
I'll look over at WAES and I don't remember who else was there and be like, didn't you see someone in the basement last time? Because I wasn't with you guys.
Yeah, did we investigate the Voctor house? Was that another house?
And we did on the outside with your bird Theo.
Is this the house with the kitty lady?
It
Mhm.
is.
We heard whispers down in the basement. I don't know if I saw anything.
We saw a dead man, or a man that was very much asleep, like deeply in a bed.
Right.
And we saw some runes outside that were necromantic magic.
Right. ZAPH knew that.
I don't think it matters if we trust her. Of course we don't trust her. She's a means to an end.
Well, then we should keep that in mind and head back to the church unless anyone else has anything else they want to do.
I'm gonna kind of sort of look away and I'm gonna say, Alexi, will you come with me? I have something I need to retrieve.
Of course.
We will meet you back at the church.
And you guys do notice that, in the entryway, slowly slicing an apple with a knife and kind of eating it from it is Ernst, just sort of looking at the top of his glasses at you all.
Yeah, hi, Ernst. Creepy as ever. Let's go.
Okay. I am going. I will follow her. Wherever she may go.
Are you guys outside of the house when you do this, or are you...
No, we were like all hanging out in a group and I asked him to come with me and told you guys we'd meet you at the church.
I was in the kitchen.
Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
just gonna we're leaving, and then get ready to go.
All right, drinking the last of the carafe. No, wouldn't drink from the carafe probably, so just rapidly refilling your glass, and then drinking from the glass quickly.
Right.
Before he pours the
Also,
last bit, I grab the carafe and take a swig.
There you go.
Is this one of the 3 brands that we've tasted before, or is this totally different?
It's one of the 3 brands. It's the Champagne d'Estampes, the best brand. So yes, it is good wine. It's fruity. It's rich. It's not sweet. It's got definitely a dryness, but it disappears real quick off the back of the palate. But the first taste is the fruitiness, kind of the raspberry and cherries on the front of the tongue that sort of blends back into that western dirt of Barovia earthiness and then disappears really cleanly. So it's a very nice wine.
Respectable.
Okay, so where's everybody headed? Assuming everybody is leaving the Wachter house.
Well, I'm going to take Alexi and we're going to go out the eastern gate, I believe.
Okay. So yeah, you if you want to go out the eastern gate, you kind of head back down past the Blue Water Inn and head past the Erisek stockyards and the Wachter stables. Make a perception check, both of you. It's based on sight, not hearing in this instance. And if you don't have dark vision, -5 for that.
10.
Garbage.
Okay. So you continue
A 4.
walking on. You come to the eastern gate and you find it still ajar, no guards tending to it.
Okay.
Okay, when I came back, did I have the benefits of a full rest?
When you came back, you did have the benefits of a full rest.
Okay.
So you guys reach the eastern gate. It's eerily barren. All the sounds of the city are behind you. There's no torches lit. If you actually weren't standing in front, it would be hard to see. So it's a cloudy, misty night. The temperature is dropping a little bit, and the iron gate just sort of creaks slowly in front of you. As they are making their way to the eastern gate, what is the rest of the party doing?
I would like to go by the Burgomaster's house just to look at it from the outside and see if that's where all the guards are.
Okay. What about the other 2? WAES? ZAPH?
I'm gonna look at the map real quick if you don't mind.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine. WAES, you got anything?
I'm just along for the ride right now, I guess.
Do you have any concern that ALEXI and IREENA have gone off together, considering the note you got from Strahd with your potions?
I'm more concerned with the tome that I kind of missed that a little bit.
Gotcha. And you do recognize that the tome was promised in exchange for Isak's death back in your previous meeting with Bokter, right?
Well, I think she said Burgomaster back then.
Yeah, it was Burgomaster.
No one knows Isak yet.
I don't think so. I think she said, she definitely wanted to be in power, but like she knows that she could kill the Burgomaster and then Isak would just kill her. If I did, I've got to retcon that. Her whole thing is that she wants Isak on.
Oh, okay.
I think it was in exchange for control of the city previously.
There you go.
Yeah.
And now
maybe that's just being clarified.
Information that means.
Yeah. That's what it takes, right?
I do not know that though.
All right. Right. That's good to clarify.
Sorry, I don't necessarily want to follow them, but I also am kind of curious about some of the places on the eastern side of the town, like the stockyard and the town square. Like some of the stuff we didn't hit. I know there was the jailhouse that we kind of walked past. There were vampires that were out there or like in there. If I can just kind of do
Reformation Center.
Right. Yeah. If I can.
Apothecary.
I don't want to necessarily want to do like a deep dive into each individual building, but if I kind of just kind of do like a flyover, looking at buildings.
Absolutely. All right, so we've got REYLYNN heading to the Burgomaster. ALEXI and IREENA have gone to the Eastern Gates. ZAPH's going to do a flyover and get some information about the outcomes in a little more detail about some of the more obscure areas. And then you're probably not following ZAPH since he's up in the air now. So, WAES, which way are you going? Are you following REYLYNN to the Burgomaster?
Yeah, definitely going to do that.
Gotcha. Okay, so we'll start with WAES and REYLYNN, who get to the Burgomaster without much delay. They're kind of down the street, just on the other side of the major intersection from the Blue Water Inn.
And before you get too far into that, I'm staying sort of far away. I don't want necessarily any of if there are guards out front for them to see us. I want to just get a feel for what that space looks like.
You got it. All
right, and I establish a mind connection with REYLYNN where we can talk back and forth in our minds.
Excellent. All right, so you two forms not actually very recognizable in the dark streets right now, kind of staying to the sides of the buildings. There's plenty of distractions and things for other people to be doing, so you're not actually very noticed right now. But go ahead and make a stealth check just for your casual, benefit.
11.
To be sort of a group check. I'll just take the average of the two.
Okay, 17.
Okay. Yeah, so with the benefit of some dusk and the extra smoke from the embering buildings, it's not hard to kind of keep yourself out of sight, at least from anybody not specifically looking for you. You come across, it's easy to see where the Burgomaster's mansion was. You're familiar with it. And you see plenty of activity in the front, and even some sounds of wailing. Sobbing coming from the front yards. The first thing in the very front next to the street you see is a pile of bodies, about 14 or so, fully dressed in guards armor that all have a very pale look to them, a very drained, desiccated sort of appearance. And you see a lot of just completely exhausted, sobbing women around the yards, collecting personal effects and, taking off the armor of each guard and trying to tend it with some love and tend to the body. The house itself seems completely barricaded. The doors have been shut and the windows closed, the bars locked tight, and even someone's come around the outside and boarded up the outside of the Burgomaster's house even more. Up in the attic, you still see flashes of light coming from the third-story window as an eerie purple glow sort of flashes through the window occasionally.
Victor.
I look at WAES and say, well, it looks like it cost them a lot, but the Burgomaster's family made it through this. But,
what do you think? Can you see the Burgomaster?
doesn't look
Nothing right now,
like
not
got
from the
inside
outside.
the house. Are there any like scratches or any damage to the doors or?
No broken windows, nothing that anybody got through. It would actually be really hard for a vampire to try and break through the front door of a house that was protected. You know, as soon as they get close to it, they wouldn't be able to put much force into it. It's very hard for vampires to assault a house that they're protected from. So what you see is instead their rage taken out upon the guards out front.
Yeah. I don't think there's much else to see here tonight. I believe I'm going to head back to the church.
All right, and WAES follows you because he's just along for the ride. I guess. Sorry, I thought you were asleep, but I figured that's what you're.
No,
All right.
that's just along for the ride.
All right, so you're heading back to the church, seeing the same sights, and we'll switch over to ZAPH. Did you have a direction you wanted to go, ZAPH, or a specific site in mind?
Kind of just east. I think we've gotten a bit of information about like Blinsky's toys and stuff like that. I think, like you said, I'm kind of just looking at the more obscure places that we more passed over. The Reformation Center, I think, is one big like keystone one because that one's really suspicious. When we walked past, or like people in the windows like that.
Right, it was suspicious. Yeah, there was like a sort of magey looking person overlooking from a safety upstairs, and there were a couple of guards who were tying up prisoners outside. And they were sort of like tied up to some metal fixings on the outside of the building. The guards made it back inside safely, apparently. There's no sign of their bodies. The prisoners lay blood-drained, still in their bindings on the front door of the Reformation Center. There's no sign of anybody else. Any door and window seems to be locked and boarded up right now. Let's see what else we got. Maybe I can have Spawn, because I know you don't remember, or should we expect to remember everything. So you got the orphanage, the coffin shop. So the town square was just Isak. You find more guards dead in the town square. Isak had a sort of patrol with him, and he split off to chase the vampire vampire spawn that ended up being ALEXI's ex-wife. So the rest of the guards were fighting another vampire spawn, and those 4 lost. So you see their bodies not yet addressed in the town square. In the marketplace, there was Blinsky's toys, and you see Blinsky and Piccolo the monkey just kind of sitting outside on the stoop outside a burnt down shop. So at least the front store seems to be kind of burnt down. But you remember he had a basement where the workshop was. So the fire seems to be completely out, and he seems to have gotten it out before it spread to the basement. There's a couple of shops, and they all seem pretty broken up. Doors crashed in, and you don't see really evidence of life in most of the shops, as everyone seems to be home for the night.
Wasn't there one with the guy that we bought weapons from? Who was he again?
Oh, the guy and his wife.
Let me see. There's give me a second.
It might not have been this different.
I don't think I had an encounter for him.
Yeah, I was just curious. I remember.
Yeah, he seems they're fine. Say the armor. I don't have that shop list in front of me, but he didn't have an encounter. But you do see a couple of other places. One known, a little ramshackle little hut that appears to be sort of the bower, wherever that was, where the archery stuff could be made. Mm-hmm. That place is burnt to the ground. And there's a couple other shops that seem to have taken some medium amounts of damage that will take time to repair.
All right.
Vokter house was fine. Vasili's house was obviously fine, or Savalia's house was obviously fine after the attack. That could have been one of the encounters. There was a residence that you guys saw a cloaked figure sort of trying to knock on the door for safety. That door lays open with several dead residents laying in the front entrance. So that one didn't turn out well.
Kind of going back to where it all started is the coffin maker shop.
It's incinerated.
Gotcha.
I think Henrik survived, though, right? You brought his body out at like 0 hit points and let him stabilize.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
dragged him out to the street.
Right. So no sign of him right now, but his shop is burnt to the ground.
All right. I think that's the last place I can. The apothecary.
Keep an eye out for Melvin.
Yeah. I don't think. Maybe like make a perception check at disadvantage, something like that. I'm not really
Oh.
spending any.
Not disadvantage, just -5 if you don't have dark vision. The weather is improved and it's better. So yeah, go ahead and make a perception check.
Yeah. I'm just not really like paying attention to me given one thing. I will look up for Evan.
That's okay. You're
12.
looking around. A 12? Yeah, no sign of them as you spread across the city and looked at most of the hot spots. But it's a decent amount of land to cover, and I'm sure you have an interest in getting back to the church. So without spending the entire night looking, you do not see him.
Yeah, and about that time I finish up looking at most of the things. I'm just going to start heading back to the church.
Okay, and then we'll shift back to ALEXI and IREENA as they come into the eastern gates.
I'm gonna take him to the woods, where I remember very clearly the spot. And I'm gonna start digging in the ground with my hands. And I'm
I help her
crying.
and kneel down and I start helping her.
And we dig up my ancestral longsword. And I kind of dust it up. I think I had wrapped it up in something so it wouldn't get, oxidized and stuff. And so I'll unwrap the sword and I'll kind of look at it for a moment. And I'm going to say, this is my family's sword. My brother gave it to me. It has been passed down through generations. It is all I have left of my legacy.
This is
And I
basically
don't-
like the top nobility relic of the village of Barovia.
It is important. It is not nothing. And I don't think I have done this sword justice. And I don't think that I ever will be able to. But what you did for me in that church, that I can never repay you for. And so without you, there would be no legacy for my family. So I think that it is fitting that you should carry this.
I am honored that you would entrust something like this to me. I will carry it with pride and I will use it respectfully and humbly. And I will save your life with it again.
And then I'm
Go ahead.
You're not done.
And then I'm going to tell him everything about the conversation I just had with Lady Vakter. And I'm going to say, we are going to have to kill Isek tomorrow.
We cannot kill REYLYNN's brother. He just found him.
REYLYNN's brother is a child murderer, and he is keeping Vallaki under the thumb of the burgomaster. Everything that goes wrong in this town that is not my fault is his fault.
I feel like we have to tell REYLYNN if we are going to do this.
Yes,
It
but
is-
not too early. I don't know how else to say it.
I will leave it to you. I trust you. I
You
will
should
follow you
not
anywhere.
trust me. That is not healthy right now. I am not trustworthy.
IREENA, you need to get a grip on yourself. You are stronger than this. You have gone through literal hell and come back the other side. And you
Have
sit
I-
here telling me that you do not know what you're doing?
Don't.
Believe in
I
your-
have.
Because I see it in you. You are so capable. You are so powerful. I would give my life again 1,000 times to see that you made it one more day, one more breath.
this point, there's something on your body that starts vibrating, Alexi. Something that's either in a pocket or something.
Sorry.
Something either in a pocket or close to your chest, but
It's on
something
my-
sort of vibrates and then dissipates, leaving a sort of cold chill, and then warming up almost like icy hot, leaving it above room temperature. You want to look for what it is?
Put my hand here and I look at her and I say, "You must believe in you." Because I do. And I show her my locket, and it's her.
And it was the locket that once showed his former wife as the true love of his spirit, and that image has now changed into a picture of IREENA.
Exactly as she looked at this moment.
I'm gonna kiss him. And then we're going to spend some time in the woods.
All right, you guys embrace finally feeling alone and able to be vulnerable and unprotected, maybe for the first time since you've met. And for once, nothing is around you, and the woods are as dark as you need them to be. And with that, we will call it a night. Thanks for the session, everybody.
Nice job,
Yeah,
everyone.
great session,
Good
guys.
session.
Yeah, it was good.
Good
We
job,
knew it was
Dev.
going to be RP heavy. We've been dealing with a lot of shit.
Well, decompression's good.
Devin, I don't like how peaceful you're able to make things feel every session, or like in between sessions.
Yeah.
Like we go from like literally dying and like fighting to our last breath, and then it's like, oh, you're meandering around the city.
This campaign is bipolar, is what I believe we are saying here.
Yeah, exactly.
The champagne is bipolar.
Hey, but
Oh
you're
my
so
God.
good at making us
Oh.
feel comfortable despite the situation.
Yeah, everything's good, man. Nothing to worry about, right?
Except we have to kill Isak.
Yeah. I figured the plot takes care of all the stress and the worry. You gotta balance that out, I guess. But yeah, I needed this session too, man. Come on. I needed a break from all the combat. I didn't like all that stress.
A lot of stuff to unpack.
I'm looking forward to the. I mean, we're probably gonna have to fight Isak sometime soon, but I like the prospect of having a lot of problem solving and RP next few sessions.
That's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
REYLYNN is definitely thinking that Isak can still be saved. You guys are going to have...
I know. That's why I didn't know exactly what was going to happen there. That's why I was like, no. I got to find out the truth.
I mean, because right now, REYLYNN's just thinking, like, if I can sever the connection with COD and him somehow, or, you know, something. But that's still not going to help you with the whole Burgomaster situation.
Well, I'm killing the Burgomaster tomorrow, and you're going to have to fight Isak. I'm telling you this out of game.
Oh, no, I'm aware that that's going to happen. And basically, my plan...
I got nothing to
part of
lose, man. I'm
tomorrow.
dying in 7 days. I'm going to do everything I can.
7 days is like
Right.
a year in here, though, so...
That's true. That's actually an accurate...
No big deal. There's a lot we can do in a year.
7 days. I feel like you could have given us like 14. I mean...
All right, good going, everybody. Good night.
Yeah, good
Yeah,
night.
Good night.
Good night.
Oh, that was a good session,
Oh
though.
my gosh.
I somehow feel like I should be less stressed out, and I'm just more stressed out.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of stress right now.
Zaph
Yeah.
just wants to be poetic.
Zaph likes poetry and art.
There's a lot of scary
And
things
food.
in front of us.
It's the small things that keeps Zaph going.
I feel like you and I are like yin and yang right now, like emotionally.
we both have gone through some chaos, but we're reacting to it differently. ZAPH just wants to he's like a mom after a really long day of work. He just wants to de-stress,
He wants a bubble bath.
Exactly.
Some chocolate.
Some wine, some fruit. Write
man.
some poetry to get things off his mind.
Okay. You can add a +1 longsword, Chantel.
Cool. Now I have a magical weapon. My girl can give me a weapon. Now I can kill vampires.
I completely forgot that we had just a buried +1 longsword. Just
It was so crazy that you guys were talking about that, because we had discussed that we were going to do this previous to the game. And you were like, "Oh, we need to get her a magical weapon," and I was like, "Okay."
Give me that magical weapon.
oh.